Greetings, Retro Zoltan here. I was searching for something new and came across a Powkiddy that looked exactly like a Game Boy Advance. To be perfectly honest, I kind of skipped over the Nintendo Game Boy Advance for a long time because at the time it came out, I believe, I was super broke. Eventually, when they continued to release Castlevania games for it, I couldn't hold back any longer.
Okay, fine.
It was a good design, great fun, in color, and I'm willing to bet people still love these and use them today. So a portable emulation system designed today to look like the Game Boy Advance would be an easy win, right? Yes, well, kind of. Introducing the Powkiddy A30 that's obviously very much inspired by the Game Boy Advance. There are so many similarities, it's really impressive, and the only major difference is that it's a bit smaller, has a few more buttons, and has no need for a battery compartment. When most people think of a company that releases high-quality handheld emulation devices, Powkiddy doesn't really come to mind. They just seem to release system after system and hoping that something sticks. Just like the rest of the public, some systems I like and some I don't. My perception changed, however, when I got my hands on the RGB10 Max and RGB10 Max 2 that fixed all the issues of its predecessor. I was smitten and really thought that Powkiddy was turning a corner here. So is this system a win like the RGB10 Max 2 since they came out at the same time?
We're twins.
That's right.
Right away I was impressed with the look of the A30 and the feeling of the shell. There's good plastic here, but slowly I was finding things that had me changing my tune. Right out the gate, the buttons in the D-pad feel questionable. But I won't know for sure how I truly feel until gameplay. The speaker is right under the ABXY buttons, which is not the ideal spot, but it matches the Game Boy Advance, so I can't really fault them too much for that. The A30 comes in two colors. I got what they call the retro gray one, but I see a lot of people opted for the transparent red model. I kind of have regrets. It looks pretty nice. On the bottom is a volume knob, which I normally love to see, but well, this is microscopic. I have big fingers, but this looks a bit ridiculous to be honest. It's there at least, but it's certainly made me for once wish for something else. Also on the bottom is a USB Type-C OTG port for charging, joysticks, or even extra storage. There's also a standard headphone jack and an on-off switch. The top of the A30 has trigger and shoulder buttons that are small, but they feel fairly good and clicky. If you're the type to do a shake test though, you can hear the buttons rattling around, but the Game Boy Advance does the same thing, so I'm not sure what to say. Also on the top of the unit is a brightness button that confuses me, honestly. My first attempt at using it, just the screen go black, and I couldn't get it to come back right away. It's difficult to use, but I believe if you wait a few seconds and start pressing it again, it goes back to light. It's confusing and unpredictable. I say ignore it completely. I don't really like it. Also on the top is an SD slot, which is a welcome thing to see, although Powkiddy states it only supports up to 64 gig. I think it's amusing that they put it where the cartridge would go if it was a Game Boy Advance. There's also a home button, which when during gameplay, you can use it to get out of a game for options and back to the main menu. Notable specs for the A30 are an IPS 2.8-inch screen that's 320 by 240. A 628 ARM processor, which is the same as the Powkiddy A66, and a 1200 milliamp hour battery, which lasts about 4 hours. Not a bad setup for the current $40 they're asking for. But how's the gameplay? So let's turn the device on. I'm excited to play Game Boy Advance games on this thing to get the full experience. So right away I'm having flashbacks of the TrimUI, or what's more commonly known as the Powkiddy A66. I love the A66, but the original firmware was rough at best. Sadly, this seems to be the case. It has the original TrimUI firmware. Why? Why would they do that? The original firmware almost killed off the A66. Why on earth would Powkiddy make this decision? So my included A30 SD card came with about 1,000 games, but I believe some come with 4,000. It has the ability to play 10 emulators. Arcade, which is really Final Burn Alpha games, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Sega Master System, Neo Geo, PC Engine, Sega Mega Drive, Famicom, Super Famicom, and PlayStation. Most of the games work fine for the most part, but with the stock firmware, you're going to see random slowdowns and screen tearing, even on the 8-bit games. The D-pad and ABXY buttons work fine, I suppose, but I've noticed at random times there's a slight delay. Not to mention the button layouts are incorrect and unchangeable for most of the emulators. This is just a disappointing mess. PlayStation, as expected, did not do very well. So if you want to play PlayStation games on this thing, think again. So where's the love for the A30? There is none. Powkiddy themselves removed the A30 from their own website, so there's probably no chance for an official update. So the only hope so far will have to come from custom firmware, but it doesn't exist. Not yet, anyway. There's one thought, perhaps, one shot in the dark that could make this a little better. The A66 did have a menu overhaul by Shaun Inman called TrimUI that made the system way better. I have seen people trying to get this work on the A30, but there's no success. Shaun, are you out there? Can you save this thing? What are you doing now? Oh, the play date, I see. Well, perhaps the A30 might be screwed. So as it stands right now, I say avoid the Powkiddy A30, unless if you really, really love the form factor so much, you can't control yourself. No one is going out of their way to make this better. It's playable, it's okay, but other than that, I say avoid it and get something else. If you have one already, there's a chance that someone, eventually, someday, will feel so bad for this thing and make it better. Help, Shaun Inman. You're our only hope. I'm going to keep mine for now and hope that eventually this will happen. So what do you think about the A30? Are you stuck with yours, or are you going to get one anyway? Special thanks to Unreason for letting me use their music at the end of this video. Cheers. And that's all I have to say about the Powkiddy A30. Thanks for watching, thanks for your support, and as always, happy gaming. Bye.